Something strange is growing at the Gwyn Hall this May, and it's got a taste for you. Get ready for Little Shop of Horrors, a wild, wacky, and wickedly funny musical packed with toe-tapping tunes, outrageous comedy, and one very hungry planet. Will hapless Florist Seymour find fame, fortune, and love, or will Audrey 2 take a bite out of the town? There's only one way to find out. Little Shop of Horrors, live at the Gwyn Hall from the 6th to the 10th of May. Book your tickets now before it's too late. Get your tickets at gwynhall.com or call 0300 365 6677. Hello and welcome back to the Stage 8 podcast. We are here today diving into a really exciting episode called The Road to Drama School, and we have a wonderful guest, Ellen.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I know that you're back at the moment from drama school for a little bit of time for the Easter holidays, right?
Yeah.
So we thought,
like
do you know
weeks.
what? Nab you now.
Yeah.
Get you in and get your podcast done.
Nice.
And we're chuffed. We're so glad that we could start this series. So it's like a limited series where we interview ex-students of ours who've gone on to drama school and training and whatever, just to find out what it's all been about. So, yes, amazing. So I tell you what, let's start off with, I guess, you telling us a little bit about where you are, where you're studying and what you're studying.
So at the moment, I'm at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, which sounds very fancy. I'm doing BA acting and I'm in my third year. So it's my last term next month.
So when do you officially finish?
So I graduate. I'm not actually 100% sure because I'm not very good with dates, but we graduate, like my graduation will be in July, I think the week of the 21st.
Oh, nice.
So I've got a little bit more time. And this term is like really free and open because there's a lot of like, you need to start getting your, agents and all that sorted. So it's a lot of time for you to be networking and stuff.
That's nice.
Which is nice that they accommodate for that, not like giving you a load of work to do just before you finish. So,
yeah. And it's nice because it's saying, okay, this is just now, this is for now, but let's think about what are you going to do once you got that piece of paper and wear the hat. And setting you up for a career, basically, isn't it?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, that's it. So what is the plan, thinking forward?
So I'm going to be staying in the Midlands because my dad is moving there, so it'll be us two in a little house near Gaydon, in the Leamington Spa area, just outside of Birmingham.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's not in the city centre, which will be really nice because living there, I've learned I'm not a city person.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've learned that about myself quite quickly. But yeah, that's sort of the aim, is to be Midlands based. I'm still sort of shopping for agents, which makes it sound like it's my choice, but it's a lot of sending out emails and hoping for the best. Please answer. But yeah, it's a bit of a waiting game at the moment, which is a bit like because you're not in control of like when they get back to you and stuff. But I mean, I've got plenty of time. It's not that stressful.
I mean, we're only in April now, so you got a lot of time,
which
and you got
I need
the whole
to
life
remind
ahead
myself.
as well. That's good. There's a lot of stuff happening up that way these days with filming and stuff. We're seeing a lot of acting work moving out of kind of those central hubs like London and stuff, and they are going to places like the Midlands. They're going up to like Manchester and all those type of places, Liverpool, and you've seen a lot more regional stuff happening.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is amazing. It makes it more accessible for everybody, doesn't it? So let's rewind. When did you first realise, do you know what? I want to be an actor.
So I always had a flair for the dramatics, which I'm sure you're well aware of.
Nobody guessed.
No one would have known. So I've always been like, I sort of started off in dance and like to think of myself as a singer, but I was not very good.
I would disagree.
Back in the day, I was not very
enough.
good. I got hopefully a bit better. Started off in dance and cheerleading and jazz and stuff, and then sort of transition to like amateur dramatics and stuff. I've always just sort of done everything. Like as a kid, like I just sort of would throw stuff at the wall, see what would stick, sort of thing, which I think is quite a good thing. And my mum and my parents were very accommodating to that, like, oh, just let her do her thing, see what she likes. And then I joined Stage 8 when I was 14, I think. And I stayed for a very long time until I went to drama school, which was 20. So 6 years with you, which is crazy. If
Crazy.
I've done my maths right, just had to double check then.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person with the maths because
We're creatives, darling. We
yeah,
don't.
absolutely. The maths doesn't math.
The math does not matter. Yeah, so
Amazing.
I also did it at college. So I went to Neath College, where I studied theatre studies and drama. Psychology first year, eventually dropped that because maths and science, not for me, turns out.
No.
And film as well. So I studied that, and then because I dropped psychology, I took up art in my second year. So then I had to stay an extra year to finish that. Then I headed over to Gower
Yeah.
College, name dropping here.
Right.
Gower College, did a year-long course acting there where they sort of help you with drama school auditions and stuff and sort of
Yeah.
prepare you for your first year. So it was sort of like while I was still at Neath College, I was, again, because I sort of like to do a lot of things, I was a bit like, oh, I love acting. I also kind of want to get into writing. That would be something I would like. I was considering like applying for script writing courses and
cool.
screenplay courses and
Yeah.
stuff. And then I was like, but I just have such a foundation in performing, and
Yeah.
that's where I've always sort of shined. Sounds really pretentious, but like that's where I've found the most enjoyment. So I was like, I
Yeah.
might as well sort of go for it. I'll audition first year. I didn't get in. Got a couple of like foundation offers, but I was like, it's just a money thing. So I was like, I'll go to Gower College. And then I eventually did get into Birmingham, and that's where I sort of was like, I'll go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And do you remember then, thinking back to Stage 8 when you first started, do you remember kind of your first days with us and what that was like?
Well, it was lovely because a couple of my friends from school and from another dram joined with me. So I was a bit like, okay, I have friends here.
A base, a grounding.
Yeah, I have someone to turn to. But yeah, I just remember lots of fun because we started with Wizard of Oz, didn't we? Was it? No, was
No,
it?
it was the night before Christmas.
It was the night before
Yeah, because you were
Christmas.
there the first day, right?
Yeah, I was
yeah.
day dot. I was an OG.
I love that.
Yeah, I just remember it being just such a welcoming environment and just lots of fun. Just
Yeah.
it really helped with like building confidence because like I'm not very like, especially as a kid, I was not very like forthcoming making friends and stuff. I just sort of would sort of hope people would come over to me,
Yeah.
but like it was just like so many friendly faces, and it was just so lovely. It was just a
Yeah.
lovely environment to be in. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And obviously that in a way then has kind of helped you settle in and makes you more comfortable and you can give your best.
Yeah.
And I find that you find that a lot of kids who get into the arts struggle with their confidence and struggle with those kind of interpersonal relationships, and all of a sudden they found their people, their tribe, and obviously you can just be yourself, which is always great. Do you have any standout memories or performances from the times that you've been with us and the shows that you've done?
Well, Wizard of Oz does first come to mind because I played the Wicked Witch of the West, which is definitely my casting, as you can probably tell. Yeah, I just really remember because obviously it's quite like a theatrical character, and I just sort of remember going for it, and I was really rewarded by like you guys being so like receptive to it, being like, oh yeah, we love it, like we love what you're doing with it, which was like, oh, I've taken a risk, I've gone for something, and it's been rewarded by like, yes, queen. So which was lovely because like obviously as quite a shy kid, I was just a bit like, oh, okay, I'll sort of try this thing and hope it works, and it really did. So I just remember just feeling like really sort of proud of myself for being like, oh, I've taken a risk and it's paid off. Yeah,
it's that validation, isn't it, of going, do you know what, I tried and it's worked out. You
yeah.
know,
And I feel like even if it didn't work, even if what I was doing, you're a bit like, what what is that? I still feel you would have been like, no, but we love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's half the battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Enthusiasm and energy, I think. Excellent. So, drama school, 3 years of your life. How's it been? What was the process like to get to that point? Obviously, you've said about you went to Gower College, they helped you with that audition process. What was the audition process like?
It was, so because I auditioned 2 years in a row, my first year was while it was still COVID. So it was a lot of Zoom calls, online stuff, which was just, it was awful. No,
it is though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because our subject area is so based on an interaction, a personal interaction with somebody, even if they're just watching our audition, you know you've got something to play to, whereas the camera is just dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's really tricky sometimes to put across what you want to put across effectively, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that must have been hard.
Yeah, and with self-tapes and stuff, because like the Zoom calls, at least you had a bit of a back and
Back and
forth.
forth,
You,
yeah.
even though you were, I don't know, it's not quite, it's never going to be the same as being in person, but it's self-tapes that I'm like, oh, because you just sort of send stuff into the void and hope for the best. You never know if they're actually going to
Yeah.
see it. You're just sort of hoping for the best. So yeah, it was during COVID, so it wasn't quite the experience I thought it was going to be, because yeah, like I was expecting, like, you know, like meeting all these new people, like going from school to school, traveling around, which I eventually did get to do in my second year of auditioning,
Yeah.
which was lovely. And yeah, it was just so interesting seeing like different places. I didn't really know what to expect, because again, first year was over Zoom. And Birmingham in particular, it was so like, because they had like stewards that were students, like help, like
Yeah.
showing us around, showing us the ropes and stuff, and like chatting to us about the course. And I was just like immediately like, oh, okay, this is like where I see myself going. Because other places it just felt a bit like, oh, this is a fancy drama school, I need to be on my best
Yeah,
behavior.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they were so just like, yeah, let's just like chat, because we're all people. It's not that weird, like, yeah, we're an institution and we're really fancy. There was
Yeah.
no like pretentiousness around it. So yeah, it was just, I just remember it being a really like lovely environment, and they were just so, yeah, just lovely.
I think that's a really important point, because you have spent 3 years of your life there, you know, and that's a big commitment for
Yeah.
anything. So if you get that feel straight away, it's almost like the pomp and pageantry of anything doesn't really matter, because if you have settled straight away and they put you at ease and you think, oh, actually all the boxes are ticking and I feel happy here, then
Yeah.
surely that's it. You know, you've got to go with that gut feeling then, isn't it? Of what's right for you as an actor,
Yeah.
and you know, where you see yourself going long term, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, I dropped out of university the first time around because the course just, I wasn't enjoying it. But the rest of it was right. And so I think there's so much in following your intuition, your heart in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously you've had a dazzling 3 years. I think we can safely say dazzling, because the reports that we get back via usually Katie,
Number one fan.
and keeping up with, you know, your Instagrams and all that type of stuff, is that you've absolutely smashed through 3 years of training.
Thank you.
You know, let's pick up on being chosen as Audrey.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, tell us about that, because that's a big fat slate.
Yes, if I do say so myself.
It is.
So that wasn't actually a part of the course. That was because it's a part of the music conservatoire. It's sort of an umbrella. The conservatoire is an umbrella for both music courses and acting. There's a company called Sits Musicals that travel around, and they came to Birmingham. I had gone the year before, and because I was a new little first year, I did ensemble for a musical, and then second year, I sent in a self-tape over Christmas. Just it wasn't for any particular part. It was just to
be involved.
Yeah, just to take part.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was picked to do Audrey, which is a part I love so much, because we obviously did Little Shop of Horrors as well.
Yeah.
And I just love the musical, and it was really good fun. It was so like, sorry, it was just such a fun experience, because it wasn't like, I don't know, you know, it was in a very fancy music building, and it was in front of people and stuff, but like, just. I don't know, it was just such a lovely experience to be able to do because it's not like, oh, I need to impress people. It was just, it's for the sake of the band, which is the point of a sits probe. It's like, it's essentially rehearsal. So it was just like, okay, I'm just doing this favor for you. And yeah, it was just a lovely experience. And hearing it like in a music hall with like this like 50-piece orchestra, it was just amazing. And just like listening to other people as well, it was just people like, again, like making like bold choices, because they're only going to do it once. It doesn't really matter. Nothing's on the line. So it was just people going for it. And it was so lovely to be a part of.
That's where the magic happens then, is it? Because there aren't any expectations of what should happen. Let's talk recently about your starring role in Macbeth.
Yes, Lady Macbeth.
And we were devastated, because we had a production on at the same time, which was,
because
how long ago was it?
It was November. No, it was December.
So it would
sorry.
have been Shrek.
Yeah,
Shrek was on at the same time, and desperately we all wanted to go up, and we managed to jiggle things so Katie could come up to see the production.
Mm.
But we were devastated. Tell us all about Lady Macbeth.
So, we got the casting early November. And as soon as it was announced we were doing Macbeth, because I'm not a big Shakespeare person. I'm not sure if it was the same for you in school.
Yeah.
But I never did Shakespeare, never learned about Shakespeare. And there's 2 other Welsh girls in the course with me, and neither of them did Shakespeare as well at school.
It's not heavy in the syllabus.
No, I don't even remember touching on it at all.
No.
So when we did it a little bit in first year, but like not nearly like to the extent that I was expected in third year. It's like completely different level. So I was like, oh, I really want the part because it's just like so up my alley. I just find like psychological, like just getting into how a character can justify doing like horrible things and like how far a person can go and still consider themselves a good person. I just find it so interesting. So as soon as it was announced Macbeth was on the table and Lady Macbeth, I was like, oh, I really, really, really want it. But we don't audition. With our school, it's just cast as. So we don't have a say. Which is nice because it alleviates competition. I feel it's sort of a weight off your shoulders, not having to think about doing an audition, especially if you really want the role. So I was just very lucky in being given it. So yeah, 4-week rehearsal period. I was very nervous because again, not a Shakespeare person. And yeah, it ended up being it was a real challenge, mainly language and stuff, and like I don't know, I had a big sense of because I really, really wanted it. It's that sort of imposter syndrome thing. But I had a very lovely Macbeth, shout out Tom Macmillan, who was just so like, because he wasn't experienced in Shakespeare as well. We were both sort of learning alongside each other, and the parts really rely on each other being like very open and trusting of each other. So we were both sort of in it together, and it was such a wonder. It was just such an enjoyable experience, and I put like my absolute all into it, and I think it paid off in the end. I remember the first 2 shows, I was a bit like, oh, like doing it in front of people that actually know stuff about Shakespeare. I was like, oh, I don't know, but in the end, it was so rewarding, and like just. Because my family were at the last show as well. They were very proud. Because I'm so sappy at bows. Like last shows, I'm the first to cry. I immediately, so like we did our bows and I like, my friend was in the audience and I remember her saying, my friend Jazz, I turned around and my shoulders just started going and she was like, oh, she's gone. She's gone.
Get the girl a tissue.
But yeah, it was because I think it was such like, just the payoff of putting so much into it, and she's just such an iconic role, and it's such a fascinating character, and it's just so interesting that like a study of psychology was in a play that many years ago, like centuries ago. It's so fascinating, and it really did open the door for like more Shakespeare, and I'm now a fan. So don't come for me, acting community. Ellen Davies is now a fan of Shakespeare. I'm sure you're all dying to know.
Get him on the phone.
Yeah.
He'll be thrilled to
me and Billy.
But what a compliment though, because you didn't audition for the faculty to go, do you know what? We are entrusting this mammoth character to Ellen. Yeah. Like you must have had like a wow moment to sit there and go, okay.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'm all right at this. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like, it did instill like confidence in me. Obviously, it's that thing of like, oh, it's a mammoth character, like a lot of riding on it, and then like because people like talking about the character, like at you go to house parties and stuff and you mingle, and they like every time I would talk to someone, they'd be like, oh, it's the Lady Macbeth. How are you feeling? I'm like nervous. Yeah. But it was also like that feeling of okay, I can be trusted with this, and I really hope I do it to the level that you want it. But I'm gonna try my hardest to obtain that. So yeah, it was a nice feeling. And but what was funny was the night before the casting came out, we all sort of had a feeling it was going to come out on after the last show of first round. And we had gone to the pub, so I was still sleepy from the night before, and I didn't wake up until quite late. And I opened my phone, and I just had like well done, and I was like, oh, I think I got it. And then I opened the email, and I had, and I was like, oh, that's so funny that someone just going, oh, well done. I was like, ah. It was just funny that I didn't find out myself. I found out from a secondary source.
And it's so glamorous. Eh? You get a little text in the morning, well
Yeah.
done. You're like, oh yeah, oh well done me. Right, back to sleep now. No, I'm pretty tired.
Yeah. More important
That's
things to do.
amazing. And I guess the process itself was, challenging,
Mm.
exhilarating, and you could probably throw every adjective in the book
Yeah.
at it. And when we found out that you were playing Lady Macbeth, we were like, yeah, we could see it. Like it just makes sense.
Mm.
Like, straight away, I was like, even though we're not Shakespeare, we don't perform Shakespeare. I was
Mm.
like, Ellen will. That would be it. That would be her. Would you say that's like your kind of crowning glory of the last 3 years, or
I
has there been
honestly,
any more standout moments where you go, actually, do you know what? This was cool.
well, I think I've peaked now. I think no role.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, it's crashing down. No, I think there were a few standout moments from my time at drama school. I think what was funny was, so before I joined Birmingham, and feel free to disagree with me, but I always thought of myself as like quite a comedic actor.
Very
I
much
didn't
so,
like
yeah.
serious. I was
Yeah.
like, no, I like to make people laugh.
Yeah.
But then since joining drama school, we were given like these really intense like plays because they just want to crack you in the first year.
Yes,
They're like
yeah.
they put all this like work on you to be like, you know. Um, and I had a meeting with my course leader, and she was like, yeah, you do like to play like very intense roles, like you don't like to do funny, you know. And I was like, I actually think of myself as quite a comedian.
Yeah.
So it was
I've changed.
I've changed.
What's happened?
What? Who am I? But then after that, because she was like, you tend to gravitate towards more of these darker roles, I'll give you this like raunchy comedy called Playhouse Creatures, which was directed by Dowie Johnson, who I've worked with since then. My last third year show was with him, and I've just done an R&D with him in Birmingham.
Oh, cool.
Love him so much. If he ever sees this, I'll be really embarrassed. So it's this big raunchy comedy, and because I sort of went in like, people just sort of don't think of me as funny, clearly, which I'm
Yeah.
like, ow, bruised my ego a little
Yeah.
bit. So it was a nice feeling to be like, actually, I'll show all of you I can do comedy, and
Yeah.
I hope to a successful degree. I did it, and it was just so much fun, and especially working with Dowie, he loves these big like restoration comedies. So he was just it was that thing of like, just throw stuff at the wall and like just go for it, and give me too much so I can like tone it down, which was a nice feeling from going from all these like, I've got to be really, really serious and naturalistic and, really, serious roles. And then it was just so nice to like, oh, I'm sort of back to my roots a little bit of making
Yeah.
these big bold decisions, and then
Yeah.
if they don't work, they don't work, but if they do, it's great.
It's part of the fun, isn't
Yeah.
it, of creating and
Yeah.
I love that for you. I love that. So for Stitch students who are listening and they dream of going to drama school, perhaps, do you have any advice that you would give them?
Oh, I think it goes back to that audition, where it's like, trust your gut feeling with a place. Even if it's got a really big name, but you just get a weird vibe from the place, don't go for the sake of the name.
Yeah.
Go where you feel like you'll be able to produce your best work and you'll feel the most comfortable doing so. I also think as well, like, really, it's hard because like in your first year, I think it's that thing of, you're confident enough to be like, I'm going to go for this drama school, I'm going to go for these auditions, and I have enough confidence in me to think I can get somewhere with it. And then you join a cohort of people with the exact same mentality and of all similar levels, because you all got a place on the course. It's hard to not sort of like then shrink back and be like, ooh, there's a lot of people that are very good here. And it's that thing of like, how did I, like, don't let imposter syndrome set in, basically. Because there's a reason you're there. You bring an individuality to the course that is important. There's a reason you were cast in this group of people. And really, like, stick to that. Just stick to your guns with like, I know why I'm here, I enjoy doing it, I have a passion for it. Share that with other people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And is there anything you would wish that you had known before you started kind of your journey into drama school or anything like that?
how physically demanding it was.
Fair
I
enough.
was like, I'd sort of turn up and sort of do stuff, and it was very physically demanding. But I think that's good. Like, I'm the healthiest I've ever been.
That's
I'm
good.
like the most confident I've ever been. Just because I'm like, oh, I can do like kind of crazy stuff, like
Yeah.
movement wise, which I was never able to do before. And again, that just comes from like just going for it and just sort of letting loose and seeing like. Again, it's that phrase, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing like what sticks. I think
Yeah.
that is just the blanket statement for
It's been your
drama
whole
school.
life, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
honestly.
you,
But
you were
like,
saying that even to your younger days, you
yeah,
know?
but I think I did lose that sense of confidence in doing that. Like in my first year, I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to do anything wrong, like because everyone's so good, I don't want to be the one that's bad.
Yeah.
So I just sort of lost that sense of, yeah, sort of go for it. Yeah, this is fun. We're just playing pretend.
Yeah.
And it got very serious very quickly. But don't lose that sense of fun. I'd say.
Yeah, because that's easily extinguished as you get older, isn't it?
Yeah.
When life happens, and
Mm,
it's really important to remember that it is fun, and
yeah.
it is, if you take things too seriously, then
Mm,
you're not gonna get anywhere because you're not enjoying it and you're not gonna
yeah.
give everything. It's just a knock-on snowball effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got a magic wand and I've waved it for you.
Okay.
Okay. And you are exactly where you wanted to be. What's the dream? You can have whatever.
As if
As in the art, the industry.
what
Where are you? Is it TV, film, West End,
um
Broadway,
ooh.
further?
Well, I always say like my dream role is Veronica and Heathers. I just yeah, which
Really?
is funny because I'm not so much of a musical theatre person anymore. But I just think like
I love
what a
that.
fun show. It's just sort of
Yeah.
again, it's that thing of it's so big, it's so theatrical, and it's just
Yeah.
like
It's
it's
big
just kind of
fun. That's what I've
crazy.
heard.
Big fun, big fun. Can't sing it because copyright.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think in my core, I'm a theatre person. I enjoy doing film, but I just feel the most comfortable doing theatre. I think that's
Yeah.
always where my heart's been. And I just enjoy the spontaneity of it.
Yeah.
And it's a different show every night. Um, and yeah, I just enjoy the and like because with my very limited experience of film and TV, it's you turn up on the day, very little rehearsal time. You get told you
Yeah.
do this, hit this point, and then you're done. Whereas like with theatre, it's weeks of rehearsal, it's weeks of
Process.
working. Yeah, and it's such a lovely process, and like meeting new people and like feeling proud of this big thing you've created together. I love that sense of like family you get with
Yeah.
through like rehearsal and theatre and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I know the producer of Heathers.
Put in a good word for
I
me.
will. I will. They're currently actually producing it off Broadway.
Oh,
Again, it's
really?
go back to New York. Yeah, so it's in the New World stages. I think it opens soonish, not soonish, but
Yeah.
in the coming months.
Because aren't they having open
Open
self-tapes?
calls,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
which I think is quite refreshing
Mm,
because I think what we're seeing as well, I guess, is a lot of different routes, and we discussed this on the podcast before. Different routes into the industry. You've
mm,
obviously got your drama school routes, but there's so many other ways in as well these
yeah.
days. Like you've got your social media routes, and you've got your virtual open calls, and all this type of
Mm,
stuff, which is amazing. And it gives so many opportunities to so many people, which is so good.
mm.
But yeah, so they're doing that, which is quite exciting. I think
Yeah, I
I'd
love
love to be
that.
a part of that process, just
Mm.
to. But then again, also, do I want to sit through 1,000 self tips?
Yeah.
Probably not, But yeah, they seem to be doing the whole process themselves. So
Mm.
yeah, it's quite interesting.
Oh, wow.
I think you play a lovely Veronica. It's
Thank
not my
you.
favorite musical in the world. I worked on it in
Mm.
London, but it's got its audience.
Yeah, it's got
It
a
really
cult
has. Oh
audience.
my
Yeah.
gosh, like the amount of people that turn up fully dressed
In the
in
colour.
costume. I
Yeah.
love it. And I do think that, but again, exactly like you were saying with the rehearsal process of theatre, it's a community.
Mm.
And it's created a massive community.
Yeah.
I remember we held September 1st day, Heather's Day we called it. And at the theatre, we had like workshops where they were all in the
Mm.
auditorium learning the routines and the songs, and everyone came dressed up. And there was hundreds of people throughout the day. It was just bonkers. And they had this massive scrunchie throw. So everyone brought their
Mm.
scrunchies and threw them at the stage. And then they had like thousands of these scrunchies everywhere. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a cult following, hasn't it? It's
Mm.
like, but yeah, I think you'd be absolutely fantastic. So, Paul,
Shout out, Paul.
yeah, we'll link her spotlight details. for when it eventually returns to London or the UK, because it's going to. It's never
Yeah.
going to stop touring. Lovely. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a quick fire. Okay, some of
Okay.
these may be difficult, some of them might not. Okay, so
Okay.
do you have a favorite monologue that you've done?
Ooh, it's gonna be the basic answer, but we did a digital showcase recently, and for that I did Bull by Mike Bartlett.
Okay, yeah,
The
yeah.
character Isabel, where it's that thing of like how a person can convince themselves they're not doing anything wrong when doing these horrible things.
Yeah.
And the whole monologue is her saying, "No, I don't feel guilty for being horrible to you," because you kind of bring it on yourself. And it's just such an interesting how do you how as you as an actor who can see this person is doing horrible things, how do you
Yeah.
justify that in your brain?
Yeah.
Because you can't play a character and go, oh, they're horrible. You've got to find some way of grounding them and justifying the things
Yeah.
they do. Yeah.
Love it.
Sorry, that wasn't very quick.
No, it's
fire.
fine. Most embarrassing audition moment.
It wasn't a drama school audition, but we had mock auditions last term, where we had a casting director come in and then they gave us feedback on like how we come across and stuff, which is like quite intimidating,
Yeah,
but
it does.
it's very interesting. And the very kind lady who was the auditioner, she gave me notes like, okay, try the monologue, same monologue I just mentioned, try it this way. And I just was like, okay, yeah, I went in full force, and then just like a line in was like, oh, I've completely forgotten it. So I sort of went, oh, sorry, can I try again? Like, that won't happen again. I know this monologue like the back of my hand. I've been doing it for
Yeah.
so long. I was like, yeah, I'll try again. Exact same thing happened. I got 2 more lines in and the exact same thing happened. And she was like, you can read it if you want. I was like, no. It was sort of became that thing of like, no, I know it.
Yeah.
So eventually I did do it and it was all good. It was just that like thing of like,
Oh no, it's changed. Oh no, what do we do now? Yeah.
oh, what do I do? But yeah, I will pride myself. I very rarely forget lines. So I was like, I've never frozen like this before. Good God. Like, it was like, oh my God, what? It was just, yeah.
I love
It's
that.
a little embarrassing.
Do you have a pre-show ritual you like to do?
I like to do my vocal warm-ups. I annoy everyone because, and here's a good tip, is gargling water is really good at like helping a tired voice.
Yeah.
So like I'll do my vocal warm-up and I'm like, oh, I'm not quite right. I'll just walk around like, oh, and people will be like with their headphones in, like really trying to get in the zone, and I'm just walking around like, oh. But that's a good one. And just like, listen, I love a character playlist. I love making character playlists. I just think music is such a good way to immerse yourself
Yeah,
into different
definitely.
worlds. So it's a lot of like gargling water while with these massive headphones on, like listening to
it.
some intense, like, I don't know, like heavy metal or something, like getting into the mindset. Yeah.
Brilliant. Who is your dream co-star?
Dream co-star. That's
Anyone you like?
such a good question. I feel like Phoebe Waller-Bridge would just be a laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's just been making me giggle.
Absolutely. And if you're filming anything in the Midlands area, just do a scene with Daisy May Cooper,
Yeah.
because she'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah, that'll be another
Like-
really good one.
And if you had to pick comedy or drama,
See, I think I've been reformed. I normally would say comedy, but I do think I don't know though, because I am of the belief now you can't do one without the other. I
Agreed.
feel like it's like I recently did my last show at RBC was Bernarda Alba, which is a very famous tragedy, Spanish, very melodramatic, but we approached it as like, we've got to add elements of comedy in it, because if it's just people being miserable
yeah.
on stage for like 2 hours straight, it's just not a fun time for anyone. So you need to add these like moments of lightness in order to
Yeah.
like then crush everyone and be
Yeah.
like, oh, aren't you so sad? You were
Yeah.
having such a good time and now it's
Yeah.
ruined. So maybe a dark comedy.
Yeah. Fair.
Best of both worlds.
Got a bit of both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of both.
Absolutely. And one word then to describe your journey so far. Sum it up with one word for us.
Oh, one word. Oh God. Okay, one word to describe my journey would be experimental.
Oh, nice. That's a good word. Was that your word of the day?
It's my word of the day. No, wall apparently is.
I'm going to just throw things at the wall.
Throw
and hope they
things at the wall,
stick.
see what sticks. That's my phrase.
Can you stop throwing things at the wall?
Please
Thank you
stop.
so much. You've destroyed the place. Oh, Ellen, do you know, it's just been an absolute tonic to catch up with you. Thank you so much for giving us the time to come on the podcast. No, it's been brilliant. And thank you for sharing your story about drama school and everything that's been going on for the last few years. We know you've got a dazzling future ahead of you. We've said on multiple occasions that she's just going to be one of those people that just becomes famous and grounded and chill and just without even knowing it, she'll be up there.
Oh,
so
you.
we're
So
proper
kind.
proud and proper chuffed. So
Thank
well
you.
done and thank you. Well, what can I say? Like, stunning. Thank you so much. And thank you to our listeners for getting this far in our lovely podcast. And any producers out there, any casting directors out there, Ellen is very much going to be available soon.
I'm very available.
We'll stick all of her spotlight details in the bio for
thank you.
for the podcast and the YouTube listings and stuff.
Thank you so much.
And hit her up. She's going to be very available. She can do accents. She can do comedy. She can do drama.
Oh no.
She can do it all. In fact,
Please.
you know, she loves Shakespeare now as well. That's one take
I'm a big Shakespeare fan now.
So, you know, any new versions coming out of, you know, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet.
Macbeth, please.
You know, whatever. Macbeth again.
Yeah.
She's going for Macbeth.
Beat that dead horse.
Yeah. Amazing. And thank you guys for listening once again. New episodes every single week of the Stage 8 podcast. Like, subscribe. You know the drill by now. It's been amazing. Ellen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.